I've been back from vacation for like 2-3 days now. I don't know. I haven't had time to vlog. I'm currently in a hurry to the stables because yesterday Charlie kind of collapsed, which was very fun. Through a fence. It was great. Yeah. It was the first time I ever had to call a vet myself. Nothing happened. He has a few scratches, but the thing on his throat is causing his blood flow to like really slow down, and he's not doing well. And the sun's making it a lot worse, so I'm now heading out as fast as I can. I'm trying to get him inside in the shade, and I've got a bucket with me because he can barely walk. Or yesterday he could anyway. And I'm gonna try and get him inside and healthy and stuff. I don't know, bye! So it's a few hours later now. I have makeup on now. I've been home. I took care of him for about an hour or two. And it only took us one pause to get from the field back to the stables, which is a lot better than yesterday, because yesterday we had to stop 3 times. And he only had to catch his breath once, so that was good. And I'm now heading back to the stable. Sorry I didn't get any clips. I probably won't get clips now. But if I do, I'll put them in here. Otherwise, look at this as like a little update. I don't fucking know. But we're gonna head there now. The vet's gonna show up in like an hour. And she's gonna have a look at him. And he's probably gonna get more meds prescribed because he is on some. But it's not enough and he's not healthy yet. So we're gonna head back there now. And yeah, we'll see how things go. He's a little better than yesterday. I brushed him earlier, cleaned him all up. Made sure he wasn't overheating with a sponge and like a towel thing. Dipped it in water and made them all moist. And yeah, that's it. Also, yay, new hair. Didn't say that earlier, but how cool is it? Woo! Okay, cool. Bye! Charly. Hello! Hi! Yee. Hello! Oh. Babu! Hello, I know. I'm in my bed. A weird place to end a vlog when it comes to the horses. It's not in my car, but I forgot and I didn't have time. And I thought might as well give you a little more in-depth rundown as to what's happening right now. So a recap, I kind of touched on it very like shortly when I started this vlog, whatever. And so pretty much what happened was when Charlie had his colic and he had all his infusions and shit, he got like an infection in his vein on the right side of his neck or throat or whatever you want to call it. And what happened was that, oh god, I gotta sneeze. There we go, double sneeze, heck yeah. Pretty much what the situation is right now is that his vein is clogged up halfway with an infection that came from like all the infusions that he had, and that's something very common with colic horses, especially when they need as much medication as he needed back then. Like, he is allowed to walk about an hour a day and strictly walk, because when he walks, the veins in his head get like bigger, and you know how it is when you have a headache and shit, you don't want to do shit, and that's pretty much what happens. That like he gets dizzy, he gets a headache, he's just in pain, and he's on intense pain medication, has been for a week now. He's on medication for another week. And yeah, so what happened on Monday was that me and my sister were gonna go for a walk with him or something. We were gonna get him out of the field. I was up at the stable, so I didn't see what happened, but I like walked out of the stables and saw him backing up, and I thought, oh, okay, it's fine, he's just being a doof. And then I heard a big crash, and I was like, okay, that's not good. So I look down and I see him in the field next to his field. So not his field, but like the field right next to his. And I was like, how? What? And I hear my sister scream for me, and I hurry down, of course, and he's just standing there. And I'm like, this is really weird. So I go in and I ask what happened, and she said that he spooked or something, and he backed up, and she tried to like loosen the lead and like let him run off, and he fell through the fence, and he got up underneath, like he broke like the lower part of the fence and got up and scratched his back and his face. Fun. But thankfully that's all that happened. He's not lame, he didn't hurt himself at all, but he was really weak and he was breathing so heavily and he was in so much pain. But it was a headache, as we found out. And it wasn't from the fall, thank God, because I immediately called the vet, of course, and I was like, oh God, and he fell and he can't walk. He's so shaky and he's so weak and I don't know what to do. And there's no way I can get him up into the shade right now. Like, there's no way he's gonna fall over and die. And she was like, okay, just take your time, it's fine. And yeah, we did, like, took us like 3 breaks to get up into the stables. That was honestly the most horrifying situation I've ever been in my life, because it was like, okay, this child is everything I have right now, and if anything happens to him, I'm gonna fucking lose it. It's like, okay, we're just gonna take our time, we're gonna be very like gentle with him. And he didn't like spook again at all. He was completely fine. He was really slow and like really freaked out, and we figured out by now what it was that scared him. And the field next to his has electricity in the fence. And what we think happened was that he wanted to like around with it at some point when he was outside and he got shocked. And that's why he backs up now, because he did the same day with their owner, and he like fucking bolted and ran back into the field, into his own field, and he was like, I'm not going near that. And I was like, okay, this is really weird, because he didn't do it with me. He did look at it weirdly, and I was like, what are you even looking at? Like, what is the issue? This is the exact same field you've been in for almost like, what, 16 years now? And I was like, what is happening? And we think it's the electricity. We're not too sure. It might just be the headaches and like all the pain he's in, but we don't know. And yeah, so that happened, and it took us 3 breaks to get back into the stables and into the shadow. And when he was like in a cool area, he stabilized a lot, like immediately, pretty much. It took him like maybe a minute or two. He was breathing really heavily because he was in so much pain, but he was okay overall. Like, nothing bad happened. And I was on the phone with the vet for like an hour. And we made sure that, because she did say to like make sure, is he eating? He was eating perfectly, and we just left him inside. He pooped, which was very nice, because it was like, okay, so everything's fine, nothing else is wrong, he's eating, he's very Charly, like he wasn't like out of it or anything, so no fever or anything. We checked like his like flesh under his lip, because if that's white, bad things happen. And we made sure everything was fine. At the vet on the phone the entire time. And yeah, then at night I saw him again, because I wanted to check if he was just in shock a little bit, because I did spend like an hour and a half just watching him at the stables after, but I wanted to be sure that he had like a day settled in and he was fine. And I checked in the evening if he was lame or anything. He was perfectly fine. Like, he is good, thank God. And yeah, so that was very comforting to know. And he was a lot better in the evening too. He was still in pain, but it wasn't as bad. So the heat definitely was the issue that caused him to be just in the state he was. Okay, I don't think the noise is gonna stop, I'm sorry. But yeah, so what we're doing now is that he is going on walks either very early in the morning or late at night when the sun's already gone and it's not hot anymore. And we're making sure he walks, because the vet did say that it's good for him to walk. But the thing with Charly is, because he is outside every single day of his life pretty much, he just he's not used. Oh, the noise stopped. Great. You can't keep them inside. Like, we have to keep them out of the field 2 days a year because we're like, the whole deworming process happens, right? And then they can't go outside into their field all day. And he hates it so bad. I feel so bad for him every time. And yeah, it's fine though, because we just take him for walks then, and that's just pretty much, we just work him a little more on that day. But he's used to being outside, so we can't just leave him inside. But what we do is we bring him in a lot earlier and take him for walks when it's like not warm at all. And that helps. And he's on pain medication, and he's getting like a cream on his throat to like try to get rid of the infection and to make sure it doesn't like harden up so that we have to cut it out, right? Like, that's the big issue. But as of right now, it looks like that's not gonna be necessary, which would be amazing and like the best thing that could happen, honestly. But you never know. The noise is back. I'm sorry. I hate my neighbors. But yeah, so what else should I mention? It's not life-threatening as of right now. If we do have to cut it out, it's very life-threatening, but as of right now, he is safe, and he is, sorry, my arm's getting really tired. I have to like switch arms. There we go. And he's okay. He's not fine. He's in pain and like all the other shit, but like, he is not about to die at the moment. We did have a big scare, but he's a lot better now. And yeah, next week the vet's gonna show up again, and she's gonna check on him and make sure everything's healing properly and we don't have to cut it out or anything. So that's fun. And I'm taking care of the boys all of next week from Sunday on, because our lovely owner's going on holiday. It's all gonna be okay, hopefully. It's not life-threatening. We did call her and ask her if that's gonna get better again, because the way he is like leading his life right now is not a good life. And we did talk about like maybe putting him down if he like wasn't gonna improve, because that is not like being locked up pretty much all day when it's warm, and like only being outside for like an hour instead of like 7, and like not being allowed to trot or can't or do anything, and just being constant pain. Like, he can't pick up food from the floor. That's how bad it is. He does eat grass when he's out in the field, but he's obviously in pain. Like, he's not in a good place right now. And we did talk about maybe if things weren't gonna improve and he wasn't gonna be okay letting him go, but the vet did say he's gonna be fine. And even there are a lot of horses who have their entire vein clogged up and they lead a perfectly normal life and pain-free life. So that is very comforting to know that we're not gonna have to let him go anytime soon unless something bad happens. But yeah, I just feel really bad for him because he's just locked up, and like, he only gets to go outside ever so slightly because it's still really warm, right? It's still the end of summer and it's just hot all the time. And yeah, I do always have a bucket with me because I like a bucket and like sponges and shit, so I can like bring water to him and like wash him in his like stall to make sure he's not overheating or anything, because he can't actually walk to like the wash place where I usually like wash him with a hose. So yeah, I do that to just make sure he's taken care of and he's not gonna overheat or anything. And yeah, that's the situation right now, and we're gonna see where it goes. We do have it under control, and it's very nice to be in a situation where I know I can just call a vet when I feel like he needs one. And it's been weird and rough for the last few days, but he's getting better, and that's all I care about. And I'm sure he's gonna be okay. It's just gonna take a lot of time, especially because he's 20 now. Like, he is old, and it's not like he's not reacting to like healing as fast as a 10-year-old would. He's 20, so yeah, that's it pretty much. And thank you for listening, and that's an update. And